Bonsoir, bonsoir, c'est Egon. Bienvenue dans ce nouvel épisode de Vampyr. Ouh, j'ai même pas vu quand j'étais level 19. Ça monte vite. Trouver l'appartement dans le quartier fouillé d'appartement des Rivières où j'étais. 700 mètres. Ah oui, c'est la quête principale, ça, par contre. Parce que j'avais pas des quêtes. De tête. Quête principale. Faut la merde. Oh, les critiques ce quartier. Normal, je viens de le tuer lui. Là, les enquêtes de là, je les ai faites. Pas fini. Trouver les fautes, ça y est. Les fautes, ça y est. C'est. Non. Ah non, c'est l'autre. Ouais, c'est la sauce work. Ouais, quartier. Attends. Merci. 3. Alors attends. Ah bah tiens, on va aller les soigner.
You again? What do you want?
Do you need medical help?
I may.
I don't charge patients. My scam is much more subtle than that, Miss Paxton.
All right then. Yeah, thank you, Doctor. But don't think I take you for an ally of the working class.
Well, I'll leave you for now. Goodbye, Miss Paxton.
Glad to see you again.
Do you need my...
I can...
Of course you can, Miss Paxton. But I wouldn't recommend it. Please, take this. You will feel better.
Thank you, Dr. Reed. Thank you. Really.
Goodbye, Miss Paxton.
Ok. Ah merde, il est plus là l'autre. Il me semble que j'avais pas fouillé son bureau à l'autre. Apparemment il y avait un truc à fouiller. pas là. Pas là non plus.
It's locked, all right. It's locked.
Malade là. Alors attends, c'était... Pas fou. Ah, c'est dégueulasse. Que j'ai tout fou. Ah voilà, clé rouillée. Ah, c'était juste pour ça en fait. Je sens vif. Mais non. Voilà.
Informing London's inhabitants of the presence of vampires. What does that make me? A double or a triple agent? Done. Mr. Throgmorton should be happy.
Bon, le Scarl, si tu m'attaques pas, je t'attaque pas. Voilà, bah je t'ai prévenu. Hein. Mètres au-dessus. tête. Ing. Et comment tu vas pour la soigner, elle?
They must be too busy to answer. They must be busy at the moment.
D'accord. Lui, il est en bonne santé. Contre elle, je peux pas. Ah, fait chier. Tu vas se faire chier à revenir. On peut pas aller en haut, hein.
Good evening, Mr. Throgmorton.
Dr. Reed, can I be of any assistance?
Do you need my medical? Treating a vampire hunter's wounds is certainly a first for me. I'm happy to help you, of course.
Thank you, Dr. Reed. Your support means a lot.
I put up your public service announcement. Consider the common folk warned about the vampiric presence.
Bien qu'il n'y a pas grand monde
Thank
dans
you,
les rues.
Dr.
Hein.
Reed. You may not realize it, but you saved a great many lives today.
Do you really think they could be useful?
See the sad saint of the East End? How a single man can help so many people? I consider myself the discreet protector of these men and women.
Ah, j'ai tout. Donc il y en a encore, ouais, encore les deux là malades. Les deux là, il y a des docs malades. Ils sont tous malades.
Tell me, Ichabod, why do you consider yourself the protector of Sean Hampton's shelter?
Those people needed protection. He was the shepherd, I was the watchdog. But I let them down and Mr. Hampton got killed.
Goodbye, and good hunting, Mr. Throgmorton.
Quête terminée. Attends, est-ce qu'il n'y avait pas autre chose dans le coin? C'est apparaissait deux quêtes, mais de l'autre côté, d'accord. Ça, je pense que c'est aussi de l'autre côté. Non. Ah non. D'accord, là. C'est à côté.
I can't protect the whole city. It's hard enough to govern the docks by myself.
Comment aller de l'autre côté? Est-ce que je sais pas. M'étonnerait, mais.
So much noise. A vampire kills in utter silence.
Ah oui, comme quoi il avait été tué, ça je m'en souviens. Donc encore 3 lui.
Tom has so much alcohol, he could keep this district afloat for quite some time.
Voilà. Là, il y a quelque chose, là. Est enragé. Est-ce qu'on peut sortir de là? Ouais. Ah bah c'est là d'où je viens. Merde, d'accord. Allez, en face. Les deux sont malades. Ah bah tiens.
Pleasure, sir. Been a while since...
Good evening.
Hello again.
Can I offer you my medical...
Giving out...
Perhaps I would. Please, take this. You'll feel better.
Thank you. But don't expect me to owe you...
What can you
I'm a bit...
gang member?
If you're in...
I'm not in...
Fair.
Since...
That's exact...
Ok.
Goodbye, Miss Cox.
Et où, là?
The sewer dog's fault, they say.
You again.
And the gangs, the epidemics, everyone...
Do you need medical help?
Yeah.
So you can sell them on the black market? Sorry. I'll only provide you with exactly what you need.
Fair enough, Dr. Reed. Don't cost me nothing to ask.
Have you heard anything about Sean Hampton's shelter?
He's been brutally murdered. And not by one of my boys.
Tell me about the man you killed, Booth. What happened?
One of us had been killed, so we had to retaliate. That's the whole story.
There has to be more to it than that.
No, really, one of us got killed, so the killer had to die. That's how things have always been done round here. No one gives a shit.
Don't you see it's an endless spiral? One day, it will be you who will be stabbed, or shot, or worse.
That's what my sweet Edwina always says, that one day I'll get it too. But she says it with the most beautiful smile, my Edwina.
Do you know Edwina suspects you to be unfaithful?
Edwina's the one who asked to be called Mrs. Cox, even though Clay hadn't touched her for such a long time.
You have not answered my question.
She's a passionate woman. I've no doubt she'll shoot me down if I ever betray her, but that's not going to happen. I love her as she is.
Goodbye, Mr. Digby. Good evening, Miss Cox.
Hello again.
Tell me about the man you and Booth killed, Edwina.
The bastard killed one of us and received retribution. There's nothing else to say.
What happened exactly?
I don't know and I don't care. One of ours was killed by that communist bastard, but he didn't brag for long.
So you have no idea what really happened, but you executed him anyway.
No one messes with the wet boot boys, Doctor. This is our territory and this is our law.
And your conscience is clear. You kill without hesitation.
Violence is an efficient tool, Dr. Reed.
So you decide.
Yes, Doc.
Have you got any news about Sean Hampton's shelter?
The murderer is still unknown. All...
Goodbye, Miss Cox.
Ok. Maintenant que eux deux ils sont soignés. Ok, eux deux pour les soigner.
I should have offered a drink to the boy. Be he cursed or
You still
not,
working
he's
at this
just
hour?
another lost orphan.
Do you require...
Don't feel...
Take this, it'll help. Perhaps you should think about closing the turquoise turtle for a while.
Tom always said we got to keep the doors open. But thank you, Doctor.
Were you aware of Tom's past incarceration?
That's the first thing he told me when he offered me the job. He didn't want me hearing about his past from anyone else.
Did it surprise you to find out about it?
Not really. I was already aware of his reputation before I met him. That's why I came to the Turtle in the first place.
Most people would have run away because of that.
Not me. I thought a man like him could give me stability, you know? At least to some degree. And I wasn't mistaken.
Have you heard anything about Sean Hampton's shelter?
His death is proof there's no safe ground in this part of town. The streets live for violence.
Goodbye, Miss Cavendish.
Bonne santé.
Drink's just as likely to cause a problem as to solve one.
Welcome back, Doctor. What can I do for you?
Do you need... Indeed, it would be a shame to taint the delicate taste.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Reed. My customers and I, we all thank you.
Why does your waitress feel in danger working on the docks?
This part of town is dangerous for all, but for women it's worse, as always. Sabrina is a brave girl, but she can't help feeling in danger.
Do you think she has good reason to feel this way? Are you not worried about her safety?
Of course I am. The truth is, she's tougher than me deep inside. She just has to learn to control it.
You lied to me, Tom. Your warehouse wasn't empty. It was inhabited with armed vigilantes.
I'm sorry, Dr. Reed, but I thought those Prewen guards would be willing to let someone like you pass without trouble.
That was devious of you, Tom. Next time you can bloody well go yourself.
I apologize, Doctor, but it's just that I prefer to avoid the law, its enforcers, and all manner of thugs in uniform.
Ah, encore deux. Ici, il me faut. On a encore deux malades là-haut, là.
Here is your booze. I hope it will appease your customers. Just try not to kill anyone with this poison of yours.
Believe me, Doctor, most of my customers are less agreeable when sober.
Have you got any recent news on Sean Hampton's shelter?
Have you not heard? The sad saint has been murdered. Nothing is sacred anymore.
Ah, ça peut vous essayer de changer de vie.
Tell me about your arrest for attempted murder, Tom.
I tried to kill someone. I got arrested. I paid my debt and I have nothing to hide.
So you... Do you think... But do you...
All I know,
Ça, je l'ai déjà fait.
You attempted murder.
I was...
Conversion
Why did
normale.
you... So you... Why...
My...
You refuse... Why not leave town and start a new life after you got out of jail?
I grew up in the East End. This is where my roots are. This is where I want to help others and die eventually.
Don't you feel threatened? Staying in such a violent and criminal neighborhood?
I've made peace with my violent past, Dr. Reed. I may not be a pacifist, but I'm not angry anymore.
Ah, scafond. C'était... Ouais, je les retrouve.
Do you think that...
Let's look.
Goodbye, Mr. Watts.
Ok, ça c'est fait. Bon, je voulais les retrouver les deux là. Oui, mais c'est de l'autre côté. Ici, là. Après, je voudrais bien retourner à l'hôpital. C'était par là. Si je me souviens bien. Ouais.
Good evening,
There's no need...
young man.
I don't like...
There's no shame in asking for help.
Thank you.
What can you...
Not re
Tell me about this crazy woman. Madness is often mistaken for other conditions.
The poor woman's mad, all right. Kind and all, but she has so much trouble remembering things. She's taken me for a son more than once.
How interesting. I don't suppose you know what happened to her son.
Bonsoir,
Rumor has it he tried to tackle some gang lads.
Maxwell,
I didn't know him
qui est
well,
arrivé
but
reparti tout de
I heard he
suite.
was a nice enough chap. His old ma still thinks he's around.
Let me be...
Who the...
I meant no...
And what should I...
Why not try seeking help instead of peddling your...
There's always...
There is no...
I don't feel...
Ça, je sais déjà tout ça.
Have you heard of...
That it...
Goodbye. Good evening, Miss Gillingham. May I come in?
Of course, of course.
Ouais, comme ça, je vais te donner ton médicament.
Sir,
Do you require...
I'm glad...
I'll try my best. Here, take this. And please, try to get some rest.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you very much.
Goodbye, Miss Gillingham.
Il lui manque des indices pour parler à elle. Ok, ça c'est fait. Donc normalement dans tout le quartier ils sont tous soignés. Voilà, hop. Retourner à l'hôpital. J'ai oublié, je me sens que j'avais un tout. Bon, aller plus vite, je sais plus. Ah oui, c'est vrai, je vais déjà parler à lui.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I was just...
Don't like quite.
What
C'est un
are you
voleur, en
thinking?
fait.
No.
Is that...
Well,
What's your...
I take care of them.
You see...
I lost.
Sometimes...
I just.
Have you heard anything recently about Sean Hampton's shelter?
Death of the sad saint was only a.
Goodbye, Mr. Fishburne.
Voilà, lui, je savais. Ah bah, je connais pas, mais il est malade.
Good evening, Mr.
Yeah.
Do you require... I don't know which...
And is it you?
Goodbye, Mr. Fishburne.
Voilà, comme ça, ils sont tous soignés. C'est pas vraiment là que je voulais aller, en fait. Clochette d'archer.
There is a name engraved under the blood on the back of the case. Jack Gillingham. Perhaps Enid's son.
Ouais, sûrement, c'est pour elle, ouais.
Best be moving. Watch yourselves! Fancy clothes! This one's a top! Stop it, Leeds! You'll pay for that! twtich! Over there! There's one of them burning! Watch yourselves! An end to you! Over there!
Oui, bien sûr, c'était là où je vais aller. Lol. Ça 410, ah, ça pourrait être pas mal ça. Je peux pas la monter. Attends, j'ai pas de montée. Là, j'ai rien à faire.
The flower's dying.
Ouais,
It needs
ça.
water.
Et 300. C'est pas la peine. Autant garder. Ok, il me semble qu'il y en a Session de dialogue.
Jonathan, at last. I've been worried sick. Have you solved the case of our poor Sean Hampton?
Don't worry, Edgar. The reputation of Pembroke Hospital is secure. Sean Hampton was not the guilty party.
Is that true? Oh, good news. Good news indeed.
Qu'est-ce que le escalon connaissez-vous une certaine Bridget?
Does the name Old Bridget ring any bells?
I'd never heard of her. Why? A patient of ours? I must confess, I don't know them all.
No, it's just someone I recently met. A fascinating woman. I had thought that perhaps...
By the stole, Jonathan, you've met another vampire. I would appreciate an introduction, if that's the case.
I found Harriet Jones. She's much the same old, embittered woman she was, only she's been made a Skal. Her transformation did not go well.
Incredible. Well, why not bring her here? We could learn so much by studying her
Bonsoir,
condition.
Isabelle,
It would be
bienvenue à toi.
fascinating.
Elle a à peine bougé, aurait-elle fait des recherches?
Were there any studies made by your order on the subject?
Not that I'm aware of. I will transmit your discovery to the Brotherhood's primate. He will be delighted.
I doubt that. She can barely move. Perhaps we could learn more about the degeneration of Skals.
Perhaps. But she could also belong to a new species. We know so little of the laws that dictate vampire reproduction.
What do you know of the Ascalon Club?
Not as much as I would like. There have always been rumors about a secret society of vampires operating in the interests of the British Empire, though I've never met a member.
I crossed paths with one. A terrifying creature going by the name of Fergal. He was sent by the Ascalon Club to exterminate the Skals of the East End.
By the stole, Jonathan. If vampires are eliminating their own progeny, then dark times are upon us. Darker than I've ever witnessed.
Do you think Lady Ashbury would know of them?
Jonathan, our beloved lady is not one for social dalliances, nor the assemblies of dark orders. She's a woman of superior taste and selective acquaintance.
Ok, est-ce que t'as rien d'autre à me raconter?
A pleasure as always, Edgar.
Ok. Attends. C'est qui est malade? Tomate. Fatigué. Attends, en fait, j'ai pas regardé. Stable. Ah, il est toujours critique? Non. Ah non, c'est l'autre quartier, ça. Ils sont tous malades. Il est toujours critique alors que je les ai soignés. Alors ça n'a pas été remis à zéro.
See you again.
Good evening, Mr.
Evening, Dr. Reed.
Soldier.
Not real.
As long as you remain here, I will make sure you don't have to worry about your health.
Don't think you can do much about it. Damage is done.
Non.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Rien d'autre à me dire. Ok, là c'est toujours pas... Ah tiens, Martin machin là. Il y a aussi. Attends, ah il y a aussi Harvey machin. Il est où? Ah il est là-bas Milton.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor.
Do you need any medical help?
I'm afraid.
Our job brings us into contact with all kinds of infections, Milton. There's no shame in being ill while you're in a hospital.
That's easy for you to say, Doctor. I get the feeling you don't fall sick often. Well, thanks, anyway.
Admit it. Nurse Hawkins.
Of course she is. How else?
Have you no
Don't you see the city is crap?
Tell me why you're
If a patient wants a bed,
Where did you get the idea for such?
Funny you should ask. The first time it was from a...
I'd like to...
Wise choice.
Attends, il me fallait ça. Oh, je pourrais le prendre ça. Est-ce que je peux lui vendre? Tiens. Non, peut-être la garder celle-là. Quelque chose d'autre à vendre.
If only there were more of it.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Do you require...
I will...
Nurse, you won't be able to help people if you're sick. Take...
I'll try.
Rien d'autre à me dire? Ah.
According to the report I read, your unprofessional conduct put a patient in danger, Gwyneth.
That's not true. I know when my patient's life is at risk, and I'm more competent than a lot of doctors that I know. Problem is, I'm a woman.
I don't see what your gender has to do with your abilities, nurse.
Yes, nurse. Because I'll never be a doctor, no matter what my skills. I could make a decision that could save a life, but oh no, that's unbecoming conduct.
Have you heard of Elizabeth Blackwell? She was the first woman listed on the UK Medical Register. Change is slow, but it will come. And you will always have my support.
To have the right to study shouldn't be determined by sex, skin, or wealth. That's all I'm saying.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Alors attends, il y a l'autre à l'intérieur. Bon, on joue notre rôle de médecin.
My sweet girl. Reads me like a book.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Is there anything else that's bothering you?
Really?
Unfortunately...
Rien d'autre.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
I will not let you down, my boy.
Bon, ça c'est bon. Ah tiens. Il faut aimer sortir à l'extérieur. Il faut que je retourne fabriquer des remèdes. Bah tiens, elle est là.
It is good to see you again, Jonathan. How are you?
I'm better than one might expect, Lady Ashbury. Dr. Swansea has asked me to investigate the recent disturbances in the hospital, caused by skulls.
Really? What do you mean?
Je viens d'encontrer un scale des plus curieux, je sens menace voilée.
There is something ominous closing around me, Lady Ashbury. Something spies upon me from the shadows. Something cruel and wicked.
Whatever do you mean, Jonathan?
Qui est le véritable but?
Do you suspect someone?
I don't know, Jonathan. I steer clear of vampire politics. especially whilst hunters roam the city's streets.
If Sean Hampton and Harriet were not the guilty parties, then who? I saw the bodies and the blood.
Your rebirth has not gone unnoticed, Jonathan. Be extremely careful. If you get in the way of an immortal's plans...
I discovered the most intriguing skull. An elderly woman answering to the name of Old Bridget, and a man who helps them remain hidden in London.
Old Bridget? Peculiar name, I've never heard of her.
According to Old Bridget, skulls can lead a peaceful existence like us. They are even able to nourish themselves by feeding on corpses and the flesh of the dead.
How vile. Please, Jonathan, let's change the subject.
Skulls of London have gone into hiding. Both mortals and immortals plot their extermination.
Yes. Skulls are the orphans of the Vampire Society. They are the shame of their genitors. A
Goodbye for now, my lady.
Ok, bon. Ça me fait pas avancer la chose, le schmilblick. Alors, attends. Où il est l'autre? Alors j'ai une nouvelle arme là. Bon. On va aller... Ah ouais, regarde, il y a lui qui est pas là. Quartier stable. Soigner, ça reste. Là, ouais. Son critique. Voilà, vache. Ça va partir, ça part en cacahuète. C'est le quartier de Stchap. C'est le quartier où je vais en les... Calme.
Over there!
Merde. Tina.
It's one of them! Christ!
can't believe I'm doing this.
Et ben là. Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Carrément l'image qui a frisé. Bien. J'ai l'impression que le jeu il a carrément frisé. Non, c'est bizarre, j'ai le son derrière. J'ai carrément le jeu qui a planté. On peut le fermer le jeu, c'est bien. Je vais faire une petite pause et je reviens tout de suite. Si j'arrive. Non. C'est génial.